What about the Afghan War? And then Pakistan. The President of the United States says he has decided to raise U.S. troop levels by 50% without waiting for any strategy review. The decision has bipartisan public support, according to polls, so they say, and there appears to be limited opposition in Congress. But some lawmakers are either wary or non-committal. Late last month, one lawmaker said, "I have not rejected it outright, but I don't understand how you do it without having a strategy in place." No, that really doesn't make any sense, does it? No strategy. Just throw a lot more troops at the problem, like throwing money at the economic crisis. GOP Congressman Tom Petrie of Wisconsin, who traveled to Afghanistan last fall, expressed general concerns about where U.S. policy is headed. "It gives me pause," he said of the troop increase. He said, "I don't think having a big military in that region makes a lot of sense, and I don't think it's sustainable." That sounds like a true statement. One Democrat lawmaker who went to Afghanistan several weeks ago was more supportive of ramping up forces and expressed less concern about the U.S. getting bogged down there, although it would seem like the U.S. is already bogged down there. How many years? How many years has the U.S. been there? It's quite a few years now, isn't it? And we're playing catch-up. This is going to be hard on all levels. Supposedly, theoretically, having more troops will make it possible to train more Afghan forces. How long is it going to take to train these Afghan forces? And what are you going to win in Afghanistan? And then, what about Pakistan? That is the more dangerous proposition, isn't it? Because of the nukes. I think that the American people are going to be more patient when it comes to Afghanistan than Iraq, because it was that area of the world that was, they say, involved in the attacks of 9/11. Yes, that's been a while back now. Obama officials have said they want to sharpen U.S. focus on Afghanistan and Pakistan. During the campaign, Obama argued the region was the real front in the fight against terrorism, not Iraq. Iraq is just the diversion, always has been. Nonetheless, how are you going to get out of Iraq? How many billions of dollars more? How many more years? How long would it take? And then what? Will you have to go back into Iraq? Endless wars, never having an end. On top of that, not really even having any strategy. What is the strategy to win? Or what are you going to win? Again. In a major speech on the issue on February 25th, McCain pushed back against talk of scaling down U.S. goals in Afghanistan. Yes, John McCain. So did the Afghan foreign minister during a trip to Washington last month. And despite U.S. concerns about government corruption, which is rampant, Some argue that Afghanistan has made some progress building civil and democratic institutions. In a recent phone interview from Western Afghanistan, Shannon Farrell, a State Department worker, talked about the nation-building effort there. A provincial reconstruction team leader, Farrell has been working closely with Spanish aid workers on development, literacy, civic education, legal training, and other goals. Their local governments are not going to look like our local governments. This is Afghanistan, he said. We want to give them the tools to improve their system without having any unrealistic expectation that 10 years from now it's going to be like going into somewhere else in the Western world, which is not going to be, whatever that means. And in his recent speech, John McCain said that while many Americans see Afghanistan as the good war compared with Iraq, he feared that day would pass. It is possible, indeed likely, that sometime in the near future, perhaps a year from now, maybe sooner, no telling exactly what could happen. Remember, as the fighting in Afghanistan increases, the costs grow more dear, and casualties become more numerous and more visible, that the will to finish this mission will dramatically erode, he said. Once again, what is the mission? How long is it going to take to capture or get Osama bin Laden? Is there a possibility? Perhaps. Yes, a possibility. When Osama bin Laden is no longer alive. Then what? How long is it going to go on? How long is this war, whatever this be, going to go on? Indefinitely? Year after year? Costing ever more money? More lives? More civilians? More death? More animosity? More anger? So forth and so on. How long is all this going to go on? And then what about Pakistan? It's the real danger here, because Pakistan, the country, the government, is becoming unstable more and more in some kind of ways every day. And again, all these have something to do with the economic crisis around the world. As the country's economies get weaker and weaker, well, in turn, yes, they become more unstable, because U.S. drone attacks are also leading anti-American sentiments to soar. The Taliban insurgency is growing in strength, becoming stronger. Tensions with India have been renewed over the Mumbai terrorist attacks. And the war in Afghanistan is going badly for the United States, causing problems to spill across the border in Pakistan. Yes, causing problems to spill across the border into Pakistan. What about Pakistan? Once again, what about all the nukes? What will happen to them? Could there be another 9/11 worse than the first? Once again, all these are more signs.